up, we've got Dr. Frederic Whitehurst, the FBI's most famous, successful whistleblower, former head of the FBI crime lab. Because I wanted to talk to him about the culture at the FBI, because I just constantly see confirmed news articles where they just frame anybody and everybody and set people up, and it's creeping me out because we've got the Southern Poverty Law Center, ADL, Fox News now, writing articles saying I'm calling for violence and I'm evil, and I'm not. All we've ever talked about is not having violence. And I've had people showing up at events saying, hey, let's kill cops. And I've been covering military drills and had people just pop out of the bushes and start setting fire to things, trying to say I did it. I mean, I've had them try to set me up over and over again. Military intelligence, it came out in the news, last year that Ron Paul and myself are surveilled by the Pentagon illegally. That was even in the Baltimore Sun. And I'm a syndicated radio host. I'm a constitutionalist. I'm a libertarian. And there's an article every day in the New York Times, London Guardian, Fox News. I mean, there's an article every day saying I'm violent and that I want terrorism. And so that's not a few weeks ago when I wanted to get Dr. Frederic Whitehurst on, that wasn't my main reason for getting him on, but I wanted to ask him his advice as a whistleblower and somebody they tried to persecute. We're going to break here in a moment, but we're going to go to him right now here. Dr. Frederic Whitehurst, America's first successful FBI whistleblower, forced to the president to an executive order ensuring whistleblower protection of all FBI agents who expose misconduct. His case exposed forensic fraud in the FBI crime lab and suggested it to outside oversight for the first time. And I interviewed him many, many years ago, but it's good to have him here with us today. He's the director of the Forensic Justice Project and pioneer whistleblower, Dr. Whitehurst. Thank you for coming on with us.
Well, glad to be here, sir. What can I do for you?
Well, I want to talk about your case when we come back from break, and then all the other cases of major police departments. I know you've seen the stories. Houston Police Department, Dallas Police Department, just where I live in Texas, caught just framing people in an industrial scale, and whether the culture is getting more corrupt or if there's been any good things that have happened. And then I want to ask you your advice, because I myself literally have provocateurs now jumping out at grocery stores asking me if I want to kill people. And my employees will go to a bar to have a drink, and everywhere they go, people walk up and say, hey, I like Alex Jones. What do you think of Obama? And so I want to get your take on what you think I ought to do. I guess just consulting for me here live on air with any ideas you've got.
Okay.
But we're going to break in a moment. But tell us about your current activities and your forensic justice project.
Well, when I was at the FBI and we were trying to bring to the attention of the Department of Justice there were issues in the crime lab, we realized, first of all, we needed to stop it, then we needed to fix it, and then we needed to find out who got hurt. And finding out who got hurt is a big part of the picture that in our country we seem to want to ignore. That means there could be tens of thousands of incarcerated individuals who were, I don't know whether the word is framed, but were accused by faulty science, by faulty crime lab work product. Those people need to know. They need to know. The Department of Justice has gone about this by saying, well, let's ask the prosecutors if it was material, whatever. And I don't think that's the proper way. I think if you've been treated misfairly by your government, you are part of that government, and you should be given the courtesy of somebody coming to you and saying, by the way, this stuff was flawed. If you wish to proceed with it, here's the way to do it.
All right, stay there, Doctor. That was a brief segment. We're going to come right back and give you the floor to start over and then to break all of this down. It's so important. And what you did back in the late 1990s was one of the first big chinks in the armor to let sunlight in on this. Dr. Frederic Whitehurst is our guest. We're very, very honored to have him today. We'll be right back after this quick break.
For the first time ever, the secret agenda of the planet's ruthless superclass is exposed in stark detail.
You know, there is such a thing as insidious influence. Does it involve some sort of psychological domination?
No world order that elevates one nation or group of people over another will succeed. It's a phrase that I often use myself, that we needed a new world order.
So it's going to be an inner ruling elite and then everyone else. And I got news for you. You're everyone else.
The whole concept of New World Order, it really says that the state is God.
They created in all of the British dependencies what they call roundtable groups.
At a higher level of COG government, where the constitutional authorities are not allowed to go.
The New World Order really is a tool for addressing a new world of possibilities.
The people running this country are determined to destroy it.
From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
That's right, deep behind the propaganda lines, attempting to wake the people up, attempting to get the population to listen to George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and Thomas Paine and others' words. Love your country, fear your government, or you will get tyranny. Now, for the rest of the hour, Dr. Frederic Whitehurst is our guest. I interviewed him several times more than a decade ago. He is one of the most famous whistleblowers in U.S. history, perhaps the most famous in the more modern times. He's America's first successful FBI whistleblower. Dr. Whitehurst forced the president to issue an executive order ensuring whistleblower protection of all FBI agents who exposed misconduct. His case exposed forensic fraud in the FBI crime lab and subjected it to outside oversight for the first time. He's the director of the Forensic Justice Project and pioneer whistleblower. Dr. Whitehurst now joins us and exposes FBI misconduct and forensic fraud. And all over the country, every major police department in Texas, Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, have all been caught just framing people en masse. It's all over the newspaper. San Francisco, a few weeks ago, I saw it in the news. Tulia, Texas, literally filling the jail with half the town's black people, framing them. Here's a New York Times article. DNA evidence can be fabricated, scientists show. That was from a week ago. Folks, we knew this. We knew this years ago that they can fake your fingerprints. But I'm going to shut up now and go to Dr. Frederic Whitehurst for the balance of the hour to talk about, are things getting worse? Are they getting better? What's happening around the country? But first, sir, just going right back to you, I've got so many questions. Just start wherever you wish.
Well, you were talking about are things getting worse or getting better, and I think they're getting a lot better. I think because we have instantaneous knowledge now. We're connected through the internet, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. And we can research on our own from our living rooms, our bedrooms, our offices, even our cars. We can be at the beach and find out that, for instance, an article just came out while I was waiting for this show here. The Nebraska CSI chief has been found guilty of planting evidence. We know about those things now, and that's really healthy. When the government controls the knowledge base, then that becomes dangerous because their inferences may not be proper inferences. We, as a people, govern this nation. That's what our goal is. It may at times we vary from it, but sir, I think that with instantaneous knowledge, then we all can take part in juries. We can all take part in who we elect. We can say, I'm not sure about this. About 3 weeks ago, had a guy in North Carolina before the North Carolina Innocence Commission. His name's Dwayne Deaver. Told them 18 years ago during trial of this man who was before the commission, there were two tests that decided whether there was blood in the evidence, and one of them said yes, and the other one said no, and he only reported the yes. And it has shaken up this state to think that a man in our crime laboratory, a lowly state employee, can put a guy in jail forever. Just unilaterally decide, well, I'm not going to report the stuff that would hurt the prosecutor's case. We found that out instantaneously. This wasn't in some court 500 miles from you or whatever. It's all over the news, all over the place. And so I think it's really, things are getting better, a lot better, because, you know, I could talk to you and you're going out to a lot of audience. I'm in North Carolina. I think you're in Texas, aren't you, sir? And so,
absolutely.
So people's questions can be answered just by going to Google. And are we getting better? We're getting better at the lightning speed, in my opinion. Some of it's frightening because the paradigms that have been in place for so long, you know, let's trust J. Edgar Hoover's agents. They're beyond investigation. They used to tell me when I was in the FBI, we're the investigators, nobody will investigate us. Well, by golly, all of us, anybody, grade school kid can investigate any of these things and look at, don't just accept. So are we moving ahead? Excuse me. We're moving really fast ahead.